welcome to another episode of Fire Up. Are we fired up tonight, guys, or what?
Always. As always.
Yes. Let's go. Let's do this. Okay. Well, where do we want to start?
Well, we can either start and rip the Band-Aid off because a couple of us was a part of the good side of some upset, and a couple of us weren't.
That's right.
We can do that. I don't know if yours was much of an upset, Jeremy.
Well,
it was kind of a 50-50 going in. I expected Detroit to win that game.
It was 4.5 by the time the game started, is what the line was. Lions were 4.5 underdog. And if you watch the ESPN pregame show, every single one of the analysts picked the Ravens to win, including Mina Kimes, who said, I don't know if the Ravens defense can stop the Lions, but I don't think the Lions can stop the Ravens.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Keegan and Motown Mitch is in the chat.
Yeah.
What up, though? Lions rule, Bears drool, Packers are lactose intolerant, and Vikings are actual queens. And Keegan says hi, of course.
Of course. Hi, Keegan. Motown. Let's keep it. I'm just kidding.
At least it was clean.
It was.
And it was funny.
For some people, maybe, but okay. So
some
you want
to more than others
in there, Jeremy?
Some of us.
Say what? What was that?
I said you want to talk more about your game.
Well, yeah, the Lions came out, and I said in the preview article that we published on the website, I literally said if the Lions get the ball first and score, it's going to bode well for the Ravens because they'll be able to set the tone. And they had a nice long drive. They got in there and they scored on a nice sweep play. I believe it was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Okay.
And that to me, the game never felt like the Ravens had a chance of winning because they were always playing catch up.
It did. It felt like Detroit was the better team from start to finish. And honestly, I feel like, well, number one, outside of week one, the fact that Detroit lost all of the members of their coaching staff that they did, and they're playing the way they have, I think it's a testament to what Dan Campbell has built. Because a lot of times head coaches lose their coordinators and they kind of fall off, or they're not able to recoup that success. And number two, I think so far through 3 games, the Ravens defense is a concern. There's simply too much talent on that side of the ball for them to be that bad so far. They blew a 15-point lead with 6 minutes in the fourth quarter, week 1 against the Bills. And then now Lamar and the offense wasn't the problem. They did what they needed to do. They did enough to win that game, but they could not stop Detroit at all. They had no answers. Detroit went for it on that 4th down to win the game, and they went and got it. But I have to look at Zach Orr more than anything because there's too much talent on that defense for them to be this bad. And I do think they will improve, but if they don't, they're not going to do what I picked them to do this year, which is win the Super Bowl.
Do you think Malachi Starks is the problem because he's a rookie?
I mean, he's a rookie. I mean, I think it's going to take time for him to adjust to the NFL, but I saw him play for 3 years, and when he was in college here, I think he'll be fine.
I do too, but I'm just talking about the gel and everything else because this puts a little more effort on Cal Hamilton to do a little more back there, and that could be the problem.
Let's also talk about the other elephant in the room in the Ravens defense is the awful play of Roquan Smith lately.
Yeah.
He does not engage any of the elite tackles or elite offensive linemen. He stutter steps against guys that know how to bull rush and as a running back. And he barely can cover anymore. I don't know what happened over the last 2 seasons, but he is a shell of what he used to be. And that $150 million contract looks like an overpay.
You think Ken was right by saying Patrick Queen hurt?
Yeah, Patrick Queen on the outside being opposite Khalil Van Noy was a big reason they were so frothy. And
Yeah, but I mean, my thing is Patrick Queen. Has Patrick Queen really been that good in Pittsburgh?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, but he was good with the Ravens, though, is what I'm getting at. He change of scenery when you're great sometimes isn't the best.
Agree.
Yeah, it's possible.
Look at it. Nacho vibes. Hey, all. Hopefully, no politics on the show tonight. That was annoying on last night's show. First comment.
Who's Jacob?
Bottom right needs to turn some lights on. I feel like Jacob can't keep my eyes open. I don't know who Jacob is.
I don't
Jacob
know
was
anything.
on last night's show, so we're talking about the Roman
Chris.
show, guys.
Yep.
Mhm.
But,
Yep.
you know, we are talking about what happened this week in football because it just happened.
Well, and let me go back. Where are my manners? Adam, this is your first time on the show. Tell everybody, you know, who and about your YouTube channel and everything like that. Kind of give an introduction.
Who the fuck was falling asleep? I'm sorry. I got to keep my mouth clean. I'm sorry. No, I was not falling asleep. I sit there and I guess my light's not bright enough for nacho vibes. Anyway, I am at Driving to the Top Productions. I'm at Sports Talking It. Been doing podcasts now for about 3 years. Met Jeremy through actually, if you want to call me Jacob, that's fine. Anyway, I've been called worse.
Yeah.
John Jacob Jingo Hammersmith. Anyway.
His name is my name, too.
And so yeah, I've been doing podcasts with Jeremy. I met him because I was looking for Detroit fans, and we've been talking pretty much ever since.
That makes sense.
Why are you confused?
His name is Adam.
Do we need to bring this person? Do we need to bring this person on and explain stuff?
He won't come on that long.
Oh, it's
and of course, you know, we got Samir down here who writes for Sideline Sport. He's a Dirty Birds fan.
Unfortunately.
Well, besides that, though, before we get into like the NFL, Samir, you saw a really, really good game and an upset 2 weeks ago. Your college team.
I did.
Tell everybody about that. Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah,
definitely.
one. So, I am currently in the first year of my grad program at Georgia Tech. So I do, along with what I do for sidelining, what I do on Thursday night, I do write for Technique, which is the school's newspaper. So I have media access to all of the Georgia Tech football's home games, and I'm able to go in the press conference after that as well. So which has been a pretty good experience so far. Right now, in case you've been paying attention, they are 4-0, which is their first 4-0 start since 2014. So it's definitely been a while. But
no, we had a Georgia Tech fan here.
I would say the signature moment was the upset win against Clemson. Georgia Tech kind of controlled the first half, but then in the third quarter, Clemson kind of took the lead. And it was kind of back and forth from that point on. It was tied late. It was a 3rd and 2 for those who haven't seen it. They get stopped on that 3rd and 2. So they have no timeout. So they have to get to the line, get the special teams on, and then kick a 55-yard field goal, which they were able to. Aiden Bird, that was his 4th made field goal of the day. He makes it, and I think it tied a school record for the longest field goal. And I was actually on the sideline when it happened. So I was able to see it and was able to, see everyone rush the field at the same time. So it was definitely a big win for them. And not to diminish it, it doesn't look as significant now with the way Clemson has looked. In a sense. But yeah, it was a pretty good win, and they just beat Temple 45-24. Now they're 4-0. So it's a pretty big win for Tech. And they are favored in every game from here on out until they play Georgia. So there is a possibility that both Georgia Tech and Georgia could go into that game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium on Good Friday, both undefeated. and you could have a lot on the line there. So there's a possibility where, Tech loses that game and they could win the ACC championship and still get in. Or if they win that game, they'd be in. So it would probably, it's looking on track to be the most high stakes Georgia Tech game in a very long time, like decades, because for the most part, for the last 25, 30 years, it's been a one-sided rivalry.
Awesome. Cool.
Awesome.
I have to. Oh, I didn't know we had a Georgia Tech fan. Samir, I love it. Georgia Tech was one of my favorite colleges growing up. Just I don't know, it just was. So I got to see it. I got to walk around down there. So that was pretty cool.
Oh, okay.
They still got that. I forget the name of that restaurant there. That's right next to it. The old one.
Varsity.
Yeah, the Varsity.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, since we're in the college realm, I'm going to play the little clip. So those of you that know, we cover the Miami Hurricanes down here. We're at all the home games, just like Samir's at home games for Georgia Tech. They recently played the Gators. Yeah, I was going to say they played a couple of in-state, what you would call rivalries. The Bulls the week before, and now the Gators, and they handled the Gators pretty good. So we went to the media availability after the game, and Scott, my husband, got to ask a question. So we're just going to play a short clip of him asking the question. Now, this is Ruben Bain Jr. He is he's ranked up there. Like, let me see. I took a screenshot.
End.
He is, he's a defensive end, but he is like up for a bunch of awards, first of all. And then, give me a second. I should have had this more prepared. He has so far, this through 4 games, he has 22 pressures, 22 tackles, 18 hurries, 14 defensive stops, 3 sacks, 1 interception. He is playing lights out this year. So he's having a really great, his defensive grade is 95.8.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think Florida beat themselves this game. I really do. I don't understand. They had 1,200 pounds on that front line. They could have ran all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Florida, they played tight for most of that game. But I feel like the talent and, more importantly, coaching in Miami kind of took over.
I thought the turning point was going to be that stupid callback where they said the running back was down and his feet were still moving. It should have been a touchdown.
And then Carson Beck, I know, is doing pretty good over there in Miami for you guys as well.
He is. I mean, Florida's offense, the first half looked horrible. I mean, the first three downs. They didn't have positive yards at all. Like I think the whole first half, they only had like 25 total yards. Florida did not look good that first half at all. I will admit, it was raining the whole first half, so that does play into conditions. And they were playing at Miami, and the crowd was definitely in. I mean, don't get me wrong, there were Gator fans there too, but it was highly Miami. But let's go ahead and let me share the screen and play a little clip here. Right here.
Sharon Bell is on. Hello, y'all.
Play.
Yeah, I want to go back to DJ Lagway. Last year at the end of that game, he looked pretty good for Florida. What was it that you were actually able to learn from last year that you applied to this game? Because this team came out from the outside like assassins. When you stopped this team with 3 plays for lost yards.
Like I said, man, we just fly around, communicate, trust my coaches. It's the same thing we do all week in practice. So when you get on our it's no different what we do on work trip. Just trusting my coaches to play football 100 miles per hour.
That's
So
pretty cool.
basically, they really like their coaches, and they really listen to them. And you got to give a lot of credit to the coaches and the game plan that they set up, because they've watched enough film. And they, like I said, the first half, Florida did not have many yards at all. And he
I
thought
thought Florida was going to play more motivated after getting beat by USF.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's a victory against an unranked team like that, who's, compared to the SEC and the ACC and the Big Ten and everybody else, those mid majors to the average fan, they think they're Division two teams.
Mm-hmm.
So it can be demoralizing to those upper class Division I teams, is what I'm getting at.
Florida had a total of 141 yards for the game. A total. They had 80 yards rushing and 61 yards passing.
Weren't 50 of those yards on one possession when they scored a touchdown?
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's what I don't understand. Like, they have 1,200 pounds on that front line. Why did they stop running the ball? I mean, Florida shut themselves. Don't get me wrong. I'm a U fan. So, but I was just curious, like, why did Florida stop running the ball?
I think Miami's defense really had them, and then I think they got tired at the end. Playing in the rain the whole first half, and then in the second half they still were playing. But I think that's when Florida kind of made their move and got some of their yardage, because they had worn down. Florida was on the field 23 minutes compared to Miami's 36. That's a little bit of a difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Miami almost had the ball for the whole fourth quarter too.
Yep. Exactly. So back to the NFL. Samir, you wanna tackle your
Yes.
the monkey in the room?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we definitely.
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of that going on.
Oh yeah. So the Falcons did have a big win Sunday night, week 2 in Minnesota against the Vikings. And you're watching the game, it's like, oh, we have a pass rush. Oh, this team is so well coached. They're running the ball well. The offensive line looks good. They're getting after JJ McCarthy. They rattled him. We have 2 interceptions, 2 by our rookies, Billy Bowman, Xavier Watts, Jalen Walker, and James Pierce Jr. each had a sack. Brandon Dorless had a sack. Ruka Rororo, I think, had half a sack. And it's like, Michael Penix didn't light up the stat sheet, wasn't great, but he played a relatively clean game given the circumstances. And we're thinking like, oh my, like, wow, this is great. This is great. And we go into Charlotte at 6.5-point favorites against an 0-2 Panthers team, and they fail to get off the bus. The defense looked okay. The offense and special teams looked awful in every aspect. Like, again, didn't even get off the bus. Michael Penix had his worst day as a pro. I think 18 for 35, 18 for 36, 2 interceptions, below 150 yards.
QBR under 90, right?
Yeah. Parker Romo, who went 5 for 5 the week before, missed 2 field goals. And the defense wasn't okay, but they also weren't great. The Zach Robinson's play calling, it felt like they were not doing anything to help our quarterback or help these guys. It felt like everybody was just kind of running routes. Nobody was getting open. Miscommunications. They looked like an undisciplined, poorly coached mess. So here we go. It's in the second quarter. We're driving. I think we're at around the 50 or what, because we didn't cross the Carolina 30 at all at any point that game. So, and this happened this happened as well at the beginning of the Minnesota game. We're like, for whatever reason, we're not able to get plays off. So we get to the line with under 10 seconds left. Play clock is running low. We're not able to get a play off. We have to burn a timeout. So, and then right after, we take a delayed game because we can't get the playoff. That doesn't happen in the NFL. Like I don't even know if that happens in high school. It was that bad.
It does happen to me.
Don't have those
timeouts very
timeouts.
often.
it was a lack of self-awareness at the end of the first half because we're trying to get into field goal range, mind you. So it's 10-0. So the game is still within reach, 10-0, get into field goal range, going to halftime, at least down a touchdown, and make adjustments and try to get back in the game in the second half. We're not able to get to the sideline with about 20 seconds left. So we burn even more time. And with 8 seconds left, we throw a pass between the numbers in the middle of the field. And we complete, and of course we complete it, and we're unable to get to the line of scrimmage, obviously, and run another play. So we go into halftime. It's just, again, just like last year, it's a poorly coached mess, bad clock management, and I don't know. It's a joke. And then the pick six thrown by Michael Penix after the defense got a 3-and-out was just about sealed the deal. But yeah, it's what you expect from a Raheem Morris coach team.
He said it for me.
It's why this guy should have been fired last year. He never should have got the job. And then did you see the picture at the end of the game? I guess one of the former Panthers players, they played for the Rams when he was their defensive coordinator. He's smiling and dapping him up. After your team just lost by 30, you're smiling and dapping players up. It just shows that he is not taking any of this seriously. And then on top of that, they fire the receivers coach. So you're watching the game and you're thinking, oh man, that Ike Hilliard, he's the problem. He's why your offensive coordinator can't scheme guys open. He's the one that threw those interceptions. It's a pure scapegoat move from a desperate coach who knows he's on the hot seat and quite frankly shouldn't have his job. And I think it's only a matter of time before that happens. This is not the first domino to fall. I'm writing an article about it right now. It's not a matter of if, but a matter of when this guy is fired.
Kind of like Mike McDaniel, right?
Yes, Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable. I put Raheem Morris like right behind them.
Samir, have you written anything about are we going to see Kirk Cousins?
We're not going to see Kirk Cousins.
I that's a lot of money wasted on the bench.
Yeah, well, that's why I've been saying we never should have signed him. We just should have drafted Penix and then went and spent the Cousins money elsewhere. Because
didn't you guys give up a 3rd-round pick for him too, or did you just?
It was a 5th because of the tampering.
Right.
But it just shows that, look, we're not a Super Bowl team. We're not even close to that. But you look at this roster, and it's good enough to where you can say, hey, maybe they can make a push at the postseason. But we can't do that because this coaching staff, maybe except for Ulbrich, at all fronts is incompetent. They are hands down the worst coaching staff in the league. I can't think of one that's worse.
That is my child, by the way, just to let everyone know.
Yep, I know who Josh is.
I don't know. I saw Marvin Harrison drop the pass earlier, and it went right into a Seattle hands. I don't know. Did he do it again?
I don't know.
But yeah, I mean, it was pretty embarrassing. I think it's hands down our worst loss since 28-3. And that's saying a lot because they have had some really bad losses since then. This one takes the cake. Given the team you were playing, given the circumstances, the win you were coming off of the week before, and how much and how high the stakes were for this regime going into this year, it's absolutely embarrassing. And it's week 4, but you're in a must-win situation going into this game. You got Washington at home. Right now, it's kind of up in the air on whether or not Jaden's going to play. It doesn't seem like Terry's going to play. So Terry's out. I think they have some injuries on their offensive line. And it's kind of up in the air on whether or not Jaden's going to play. I don't know if Bill is going to play either. So this is it. Look, I had this team looking at the first 6 games starting 2-4 because that is a hard schedule. I didn't have what happened last week happening, obviously. I had the games reversed. I thought we would lose to Minnesota and beat the Carolina Panthers. But nonetheless, this game is a gettable one for Atlanta. If they win, they're 2-2. and all hope is not lost. But if they lose, you're 1-3, you have a bye, and then guess what? Buffalo comes into town. And then after that, even though they're injured, they're still going to be a tough out on the road in San Francisco. So there's a very good chance that if you lose this game, you're staring 1-5 right in the face.
Okay.
And yeah,
I was looking for my notebook. I was curious to see where I had Atlanta.
yeah. And then I feel like Ike Hilliard being fired, that's not going to be the first domino to fall. It's not. And I thought that Raheem Morris would get the end of the season at the very least, because that's not like our owner, Arthur Blank, to make those kind of changes during the season. But I think if they're 1-5 and they look the way they did last week, I think there's a good chance he doesn't make it to the end of the season. I
mean, this is what I'll say. I think Carolina is a much improved team. Yes, they're not. I mean, they showed up obviously against your team, but I don't think they're a walkover as like they used to be though either. They showed signs of improvement late last year as well.
Yeah, but I mean, still, they're not a walkover, but still, for you to not even get off the bus in a game against a division rival is just unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
I agree. But I do.
Yeah.
I would say the Dolphins are right up there, though.
I would say, okay, at least Mike McDaniel brings something to the table. Mike McDaniel,
like
push comes to shove, is a good offensive mind. Raheem Morris brings nothing to the table besides a smile and a 3-piece suit.
And a dab for them.
Mike McDaniels brings in his not pants, but those pants. Whatever those things are that he wears.
Capri pants and pointy shoes.
Yeah. I don't know. So should we talk about the monkey in my room? Like losing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mr. Jeremy wants to talk about this one because, divisional rival, someone puts us out, but yeah, the Packers losing to the Browns. Jeremy, your thoughts?
I've said all along, this is a bad offense with the best defense in the NFL, and they'll steal some games because of it. And we saw that this week. A blocked field goal and an interception returned almost for a touchdown if the guy didn't step out when he was bumped, which turned into a Quinshon Judkins touchdown. It is what it is. It turned it into a 3-point loss for the Packers. And nowhere am I saying that the Packers are not a good team. I'm saying that defense is so dominant, it made it hard on them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's no different than when everybody was clowning on the Lions week 1 because, they look washed. Their coaching looked inept. This, that, and the other. And I said, week 1 overreaction. Chill out. Give them another week. This is the first time those starters on the O-line played together, and it showed.
Mm-hmm. I've been saying there's a reason you play the game. I mean, we all think that everybody, that there are some teams that are going to glide over everybody else. But, then there's some surprises of teams that someone comes out from the woodwork and beats a team. Who would have guessed that Atlanta would put up a 0 spot? You just don't think that way. But that's why it's fun to watch and, Adam, tell us about your team.
I am not a Tomlin guy, so that's my problem. But anyway, your defense is not going to get 5 turnovers a game. I feel they should have lost this game just because, it was by luck, fumbling on the goal line twice, I believe. That doesn't happen. But they won. They snuck it out. Aaron Rodgers, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns. Pat Freiermuth, 1 catch, 6 yards, I believe. I'm not sure what's going on there. I don't know Aaron Rodgers' records with tight ends. I don't know I didn't look that deep. I started just I was never a big Rodgers fan. I wasn't, but
Mhm.
I have to be now. So the defense came through. We had a lot of people out. Might be getting some of them guys back this week. Porter, I don't know if he's going to be on limited snaps or not. I know Derek Harmon is going to be on limited snaps this week. Bishop's coming back. Obviously, I don't know. Everyone keeps talking about this team needs to gel and learn how to play more, but they're all veterans. That's what I don't understand. Like why they need time to still learn how to play off each other. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Calvin Austin had a good game. Yeah, Calvin Austin is definitely he's one of my favorite receivers on this team, actually. I've liked him ever since he's been in the league because he's fast, and I think he's been underused a whole lot.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Aaron Rodgers and him did develop chemistry in camp, so I mean, so far it's been paying off every once in a while. Excuse me. And yeah, so I really believe we snuck that win out. I just do. And if Jordan Mason gets running this weekend, I think Jordan Mason's going to have a huge game. I've been a Jordan Mason fan since he's been in San Francisco. So when I heard Aaron Jones was down, I actually got excited because I like Jordan Mason. So
yeah, Jordan Mason's Jordan Mason's the player I saw play here when he was at Tech, and he definitely looked the part. I was kind of surprised he actually ended up going undrafted.
I was too. I was very surprised on that myself.
And I was surprised the 49ers didn't do more to keep him.
Did they feel that Guendo was going to be a better back? I mean, they're both good backs.
Yeah. But
I mean, but obviously they got scared and had to go trade for Brian Robinson.
Yeah. I feel like I'd go with the known commodity, especially with, you don't know whether or not Christian McCaffrey is going to be healthy.
Well, Guendo filled in. I thought he filled in really well last year for Christian McCaffrey whenever they were both down. Remember, Jordan Mason was down too. And so maybe that's why maybe that's why they didn't fight to keep him, because he was injured.
Yeah.
Jeremy, you should be thanking this man, Samir, because your eighth inning guy, your pitcher. Where's he from?
Oh yeah, I know exactly. He's from the Braves.
No, he's from Georgia Tech.
Oh, is he from Georgia Tech? Okay.
Yeah. I Martyr was his name? Martyr?
Morton?
Not Morton. I don't know. Whoever your eighth inning guy, I know he's from Georgia Tech.
I'd have to look on the box score to remember.
But anyway, that was my connection with you and Jeremy right there.
Awesome. I love
it. But Carson Wentz scares me a little more. With JJ McCarthy starting, I had the Vikings really sucking ass, but now that Carson Wentz is in there, I feel that this team has improved a lot.
I mean, I feel like any quarterback in Kevin O'Connell's offense is capable of having success. So it's kind of like what they have in Tennessee with Josh Heupel, where it's basically a plug and play kind of deal where you can just put anyone back there and they're going to have a good year. But
talking about Troy Melton.
Yeah. I'm comparing what they have to what Kevin O'Connell has, where you can just basically plug and play any quarterback back there, and they're going to have success.
Well, anyone could throw bombs to Jefferson all day. Just being honest. I mean, eventually they get. When do they get Addison back, Jerm? Week 6.
Addison might be back this week, if I remember.
This week. It was
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 games.
I know Rice can come back to the Chiefs facility and sit in meetings, but he can't practice until week 6.
That's
it's
right.
Weird. I have no idea why they let him even come back if he can't participate. I didn't understand the suspension. Like, if you're suspended, you're suspended. You shouldn't be allowed back in the team. That's just my opinion. But
But yeah, I was gonna say that the outcome of that Browns game definitely surprised me. Like, I know it's any given Sunday, but I was kind of peeping the scores and I saw red zone and it was like, oh, this Browns Packers game is close. And then I kind of keep peeking back and forth. It's like, oh, the Browns won. It was like, okay.
You got to remember it was 10-0 Packers too at one point.
Yeah.
For
Oh,
most
yeah.
of the game.
Jordan Love, I think, had a turnover late in the game.
He
That
did.
was the spark.
And then
That was the one that set up the Quinshon Judkins touchdown.
yeah. And then they blocked a field goal, which would have put the Packers in front.
Yes, they did.
Because they were up 10-0, and then it was 10-3. Then the interception happened, and Quinshon Judkins scored the touchdown. Then they blocked it and got in field goal range.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that was some awful Packers penalties. And I mean awful, like bad timing. We had one guy that false started 3 times in that game, and it's like, come on, like.
Well, you did have both of your tackles go down in that game, if I remember right.
We
The backups were playing, and that's where most of those penalties were coming from. They're from guys that it was their first time doing any significant snaps in the NFL.
I know, but it still hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Penalties are penalties, especially false starts. Those are the ones that hurt.
There is one bad beat I forgot to bring up, but it wasn't an upset, really. I mean, it looked like an upset if you were watching the game, because it looked like that team had no shot.
Mm-hmm.
But they're down by 6 points. And Mr. Jordan Davis, after a blocked field goal, runs it back for a touchdown. The big man rumbling. It was reminiscent of old Jerry Ball versus Dallas back in the day for Detroit.
Well, it was kind of crazy in those first games on Sunday. There was 3 or 4 of how many of them that had blocked
5 blocked field goals.
I was gonna say, like, it was just crazy, all within a couple of minutes of each other too, near the ends of the games. I mean, that was. Well, we didn't. The other big upset. I don't know that how many of us thought Chicago was gonna do what they did.
I mean, I kind of felt like it was possible. They looked like the team that was advertised in the offseason and the team that I actually picked to win that division going into the season. Of course, that was before the Micah Parsons trade kind of shook everything up. But it was definitely the best day for Caleb Williams as a pro. Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, they finally got, it seems like Ben Johnson and that coaching staff finally got them involved in the offense, and Luther Burden had a 100-yard game. I think Colston Loveland had a touchdown as well. Roma Dunze had a couple of touchdowns, showed why he was a top 10 pick last year. The defense looked as advertised. But I feel like the takeaway is that, again, the Cowboys defense is a huge concern. They weren't good last year, and so far they've been really bad this year. Russell Wilson, keep in mind, had a career day against them a couple weeks ago, and now he's benched. So if there needs to be an idea on how bad they've been defensively, there you go.
I can't believe how bad Diggs got burnt on. He got burnt on every touchdown almost.
I want to tell you that this is 100% on why they should have never traded Parsons.
I mean, there's a bunch of reasons why you don't trade Micah Parsons, but
right. But the main one was he was their only pass rushing threat on that team. Mm-hmm. Since he's been gone, there has not been a pass rush except against a bad team.
And then the guy they traded for gets hurt. Kenny Clark got hurt.
Yeah.
In that game versus the Bears, right?
Yeah.
First quarter, I think it was.
It was early, I believe.
I know it was early.
Yeah. So it's a shame that Kenny Clark got hurt, but guess what? That's one of the reasons why the Packers wanted to get rid of him, is his availability was becoming less and less every year. They weren't like big half a season injury, but it would be he'd miss a half and then miss the next game and then come back, and then he'd miss 2 games, then he'd come back for a few, then miss another half a game. You know, that availability, when you add it up, even though it doesn't look like he missed that many games on the IR report, when you start adding up them quarters and go, wow, he missed 8 games out of 17. That means he was only available for 9. And then you look while he's missing, if you won any of those games, do we really need him?
And the spot
But,
the spot we really needed to shore up is the pass defense. You know, we needed something there.
we talked about it just the week before. The week
Mhm.
before the season started, before the trade even happened. I believe the trade happened on the Tuesday before cut day, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
We-
it happened like a week before the season. So like I think
Right.
the Tuesday or Wednesday before the season started.
Right. So it was the Tuesday of cut day is when that trade happened.
Mm-hmm.
So that last week of preseason, when we all were talking, he was not a part of the Packers. And both Candy and I addressed how they kind of ignored it in the draft and free agency of getting another pass rusher to help Gary. And now look, Gary's one of the sack leaders in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
But you know what's crazy is there are two teams atop the sack leaders, and it's not the Eagles. It's not the Packers. It's the Denver Broncos and the LA Rams with 12. Guess what team in the NFL is at third, which technically is second in the NFL right now?
So what team is third in sacks?
11 sacks.
Chargers.
The Detroit Lions.
Oh, Lions.
They got 4 versus Chicago and 7 on Lamar Jackson, and that's the first time Lamar Jackson has been sacked 7 times in a game. And it's something that I wrote about specifically last year that we needed to do versus mobile quarterbacks in every preview that I wrote about. And my only gripe that I ever had about Aaron Glenn, his refusal to use a QB spy against mobile quarterbacks. The zone blitzes we were running, we used a QB spy on 20% of our zone blitzes, which equaled 4 sacks on Lamar Jackson.
So, what games are we looking forward to this week? And
Well, number one, Eagles Bucks. The Bucks have always played the Eagles hard in recent years, especially the game is in Tampa, but the Bucks are going to be banged up. Nonetheless, they've been finding ways to win. I do expect it to be a good game, but I do think the Eagles are going to come out on top. I'm going to stay in my own backyard, Washington and Atlanta.
Yeah.
We don't know the status of JD5.
Jaden.
Is JD5 going to play number one, number two? I want to see how this team responds at home. I want to see how they respond coming off of a loss like that. This is really going to tell me whether or not Raheem has lost the locker room or not. Because if they come out and they play hard, but basically, for all extensive purposes, they need to win this game. So
I have a question for you. Do you think Drake London's shoulder is banged up more than they're talking about because he took that heavy hit for opening week?
To be honest with you, I don't know. I mean, yeah,
I traded Drake London in all my dynasty leagues before the season started.
He's not being as productive the way I thought he would, but Darnell Mooney is also dealing with an injured shoulder. So I don't know.
Do you remember what hit I'm talking about, though, the Drake London hit?
Yeah.
He was in the end zone.
In the end zone at the end. I remember that because I was at that game. I saw him going into the locker room afterwards.
Was that Bunting that made the hit, if I remember right, the cornerback?
It wasn't a hit. It was like, no, he got tackled.
He slipped or something, right?
He got tackled as he was trying to bring the ball in, and he just fell on his shoulder. And then Darnell Mooney fell on. Yeah, I saw Godwin didn't practice today. I might have been wrong, but they are getting Wirfs back soon, I think.
And Godwin.
I thought Godwin didn't practice today. I might have been wrong. I'll have to look at that again.
He's been limited in practice. He wasn't at full practice yet. But
yeah, I do know that they are ramping Godwin up to come back, I think, this week or next week.
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's looking like Tampa's division to lose. Now that could change. It could not change, but this so far is their division to lose the way things are going. But that's one game. I mentioned our game. You know, how are we going to respond coming off of a loss like that? Obviously, the headliner, Green Bay at Dallas. Micah's making his return. How many sacks is he going to have? I know Jerry Jones already said that he wasn't doing a production for him, which, I mean, quite frankly, I don't think is a surprise, which is really not that big of a deal as some are going to make it out to be.
Right.
The media's got to hype this up, of course.
Well, and
And
the
then-
funny thing is that the media that's hyping it up are the main sports ones, not the singular sports ones. Like NFL Network isn't making a big deal out of it, but ESPN is, Fox Sports is, FanDuel Sports is, with their
Well,
talk shows that they
I mean,
have.
it's the Dallas Cowboys. It's headlines. It's America. America's
But,
team.
Right.
Whatnot.
But you know,
So,
I heard the best thing on the Huge Show today, which is a local sports show I listen to while I'm working. He literally said, why does any NFL team have to do a hype video for a former player? This isn't the NBA.
yeah, I mean, you don't really see that often in the NFL. You
Right.
only see it like I think when Peyton Manning went back to Indianapolis is one,
Yep.
and that's the one I remember. But yeah,
And Tom Brady when he went back with the Bucs to play against the Patriots that year.
yeah, so those are the games I'm looking forward to.
I mean, Marc-Andre Fleury got it too when he came back to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, but that hockey and like I said, hockey and basketball are more known for doing that than the NFL and Major League Baseball. There's been very few in Major League Baseball that have done that, because usually when somebody's really good, guess what they do? They stick with the team for a career in baseball and in football.
Or
Very
they go
rarely.
back at the end of their careers. Albert Pujols.
Right. Yep. But at the same time, the games that I'm looking forward to, I am looking forward to Green Bay versus Dallas for one reason. You may see a streak continue or end, because ever since AT&T Stadium has been built, it's been Lambeau South. They have never lost in a.
Oh, it sits
AT&T
104,000 people.
I know, but Green Bay has never lost in AT&T Stadium.
I did not know that. Damn it, Jeremy. Now I learned something today. Damn it.
I do that every now and then.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So what games are you looking forward to, Adam?
Well, the 9:30 game, of course, obviously.
Oh yeah, because you're playing the Vikings, right?
Yeah,
And
that's what.
at home.
And
At home, and I have to say it, at
I've seen
home-
pictures already. It looks like the Steelers Nation has shown up early.
Yep.
I don't know how the school travel, but my sister sent me pictures from there. Bill Hillgrove is over there. There's a lot of Steeler fans in Ireland right now.
And I want to say that they are playing in the county that is the home to the Rourkes. The Rourkes were the O'Rourkes in Ireland, and that is my heritage on the Irish side.
My grandmother's aunt has a castle over there somewhere too. I don't know where. I wonder if they're going to do something for Dan Rooney because he was the ambassador.
They probably should.
I don't know if they are or not. I did not hear anything. Obviously, I live here. I figured I would have heard something by now, but I have not. Obviously, the
And-
Dallas Green Bay game has my attention.
We do have a little. Are we about ready to talk about baseball?
We
I'm
can.
dreading it. Because it has to do with my team.
I believe the 9:30 game, isn't it going to be on NFL Network?
Yes, NFL Network. I believe it's either NFL Network, but which is also owned by ESPN, which means you can get it on the ESPN app now.
No, you have to
Not
pay. You have to pay extra for it.
I know, but you do, unless you got like Verizon and choose that as your app for free. Just say.
I like the Colts and Rams game this week. Can
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Colts keep it going and the Rams be coming out mad? And how
Yep, and Garrett Hurst is out this game, and I think that's a huge blow to that defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'm riding the Indiana Jones train until it falls off with the crystal skull.
I think he just needed to be out of that media and out of New York. Danny Dimes was a good quarterback in college.
And also, he has a competent O-line. He never had that in New York because that O-line was either always injured or always letting people through like a turnstile.
You know, I can't say he never had a good running back because obviously he had one of the best running backs in the league. But he's got a pretty good running back right now in Jonathan Taylor. So,
Yep, my boy out of Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's funny because I remember when they announced initially that they were going to start Daniel Jones over Anthony Richardson. I'm like, well, what are the Colts doing? You can't just bail on your young quarterback like that after 15 games unless you really don't believe in him or you just think he's a lost cause or you really think Daniel Jones is that much better. And I didn't think Daniel Jones was that much better because it wasn't like a Sam Darnold, New York Jets situation where you didn't give him enough time, maybe, and you bailed on him. They gave him 6 years and they gave him a nice payday at that. And now, as you said, he didn't have an O-line. The front office didn't put a great team around him, but they gave him 6 years and he couldn't stay healthy. When he was healthy, he wasn't producing. So I'm like, is this really a better option right now? Clearly, so far it's been.
Sometimes that's what guys need is they need a new perspective, new coach, new team to believe in you too. Like just a whole fresh start. Sometimes that's exactly what you need.
And
like Sam Darnold.
And technically, the Colts have new ownership.
Technically, yeah.
Jim Irsay did pass away. His 3 daughters are handling that team and segmented it and are running it with where they had their degrees in. And I think they're doing a wonderful job. I love what they've done. I love what they built this year because they addressed things in free agency they needed. They got rid of the dead weight known as Shaquille Leonard, who wasn't living up to that contract.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did really good this year. One is the president of football operations. One heads up all of the events and promotions, and the other one handles the money side of it. What a brilliant 3-headed monster that Jim Irsay created.
It's like Irsay had just stayed alive long enough to make sure he knew his girls were ready to take it over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we know he was drinking and smoking those cigars his entire life because we saw video after video every weekend after an Indianapolis win, whether they were good or not.
I didn't get to meet him, but I did get to see him do an interview at Canton at the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that
was pretty cool. That was the closest I ever got to him.
That's cool. Okay, guys, there's another sport that's kind of wrapping their season up right about now. Let's talk a little bit about MLB since we're going to be headed into the last weekend. There's 4 or 5 games left, 3 or 4 games.
Everyone has 3 games left after tonight.
No, you have 4 games left there because you have 1 more game left than the Tigers. You've got a 2-2 series or a 4-game series, I believe, coming up, is what they said.
The Guardians do? I thought we finished out this weekend. Is there a doubleheader, maybe?
I think one of them is a doubleheader due to a makeup game to a rainout earlier in the season, if I remember right.
I didn't hear anything about this.
Because they've been talking about it on Sports Talk Radio that you guys have 1 more game to play than the Tigers. Because we play a 3-game series versus.
No, they can't be.
No, we play Texas.
Okay.
You have the 86 and 73 is both the Guardians and the Tigers right now.
Yep.
Yeah, we
need to go 2-1, and you need to go 1-2, sir.
Yeah. So I think right now that the Tigers are still a game. They're still a game up on the Astros as of right now
because they lost last night.
Yeah, and you said that you guys have the tiebreaker, right?
Yeah, the Guardians have the tiebreaker right now.
I mean, for the wild card.
No, for our division.
Oh, yeah, they can.
Big Hoss in the chat. Shannon Bell back, or Sharon Bell, excuse me. My eyes aren't that good at this far away, even with my glasses.
What's up, Marcus?
So right now, the teams that are in, the Brewers, the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Cubs, and the Padres. So the question is going to be: is it going to be the Mets or is it going to be the Reds? And technically, Arizona Diamondbacks have a shot yet too. They're
Right.
not.
I know the Reds stayed alive today, robbing the
Mm-hmm.
Pirates of a home run in that 9th inning.
And then on the American League side, Toronto's in, the Mariners are in, the Yankees are in. The
And
question, the Guardians, but it's not for sure, like where
Right,
they're going to fall. So
but
those
right
are the
now,
ones.
yeah,
I don't even think they clinch a playoff spot, right? I don't know.
No, they
I
have
don't
not
think the
clinched the
Guardians
playoff
or
yet.
I
neither
don't
one
think
of
the
us have
Guardians or
clinched.
Detroit plays have a playoff spot yet.
Yeah,
Nope.
yeah. I mean, either
If
of them
it
can win the
season ended
division.
today, yes, they'd both be in, but they're not guaranteed. So the Guardians, the Red Sox, the Tigers, and Houston all are vying for those last 3 spots.
And
And
Detroit
Seattle
plays
too, right?
Boston. Detroit plays Boston this weekend, and Cleveland got the Rangers.
And Houston is playing the Angels.
Oh, they might win.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, the National League, that last spot, it's between the Reds and the Mets. It's a 2-team race, basically. I would say so the Reds are going to play at Milwaukee. The Mets are going to be in Miami, right? I would say the Mets do have the favorable opponent, obviously, because the Brewers are still going to be playing for home field advantage. They haven't clinched it yet because the Phillies are only 2 games behind.
Mhm.
So we'll see.
So it depends.
Do
'Cause
they
if they win one game, then they've clinched it, and then they
Yes,
don't need the
I'm
next.
going to ask. Do they say what the tiebreakers are between
The
the
Guard-
Phillies
I-
and Milwaukee?
Between the fifth. All right. Yeah. Let
I
me
think
see.
Milwaukee only needs one more, and then they've clinched home field. I think.
Right.
So there would be that. And of course, the Phillies have the 2nd seed wrapped up already, if that were the case.
Right.
I think the Dodgers are in the 3rd seed.
Dodgers
still
clinched
have it.
today or last
They-
night, one of the two.
They clinched
Yeah.
the division.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they've already
they clinched
clinched
the
they've
division.
clinched the West
Okay.
already.
Jason could breathe, Jeremy.
he was stressing.
Oh
He was-
man, he was
He was
bad.
stressing worse than me.
So really,
the
it's
Tigers.
between, so really it's between the Mets and the Reds, and the Marlins they're not. I guess they're not going to be an easy out, because I did see a report the other day that they were shifting Sandy Alcantara back to where he would pitch the last game of the year, which could determine whether or not the Mets make the playoffs, depending on what happens between the Reds and the Brewers.
Yep, they want to play spoilers.
Yeah.
They've done it before. They're gonna try and do it again. And kudos to them, because I mean, they're obviously they didn't have the season that they wanted here in Miami, but they got a lot of rookies. They did it with a lot of no-namers, and that's they don't have any big names on that team in Miami, but they are improved from last year. So I guess that says something. Keegan is asking, is it divisional games that's the tiebreaker?
It's divisional games, overall record in the conferences, right? Or
I thought it was head to head.
there's head-to-head first and foremost, then it's divisional games, and then I believe it's run differential, if that's still the same. I think it broke down something like that.
It's the same thing with the Tigers. Skubal pitching the last game too. Yeah, but it's not the same thing for Miami, because Miami can't make the playoffs. The Tigers can make the playoffs. So Miami's just trying to play spoiler. Tigers are still trying to. I mean, let's face it, they've slid a lot. They had a big lead, months ago.
15 games at the break, Jeremy. That's crazy. But
It
if
was
it did end
15 and a
today,
half.
if it did end today, though, Jeremy, they would be playing each other in Cleveland for the first round.
Yep.
Okay, guys, let's go to my town. Around the horn. Samir, what's happening in your town?
All right. So Georgia Tech has moved up in the AP poll. They are ranked 16th nationally now. It's gone so well that quarterback Haynes King has even garnered some Heisman Trophy talk, some Heisman Trophy possibility. It's going very well for them. They are going to travel to Winston-Salem to play Wake Forest. They are a 2-touchdown favorite. The Braves will wrap up their season this weekend. They're going to miss the playoffs and have a losing record for the first time since 2017. They did bring back Charlie Morton to pitch the last game of the year on Sunday. He's 41. It's likely, if I had to guess, going to be the last game of his career. So a good gesture by the team to bring him back and finish his career where he started. And it could also be, it's kind of up in the air. Is this going to be the last of Brian Snitker? If I had to guess before the season and early on in the year, I would say 90% he is retiring. Now he kind of said, I don't know. I kind of go back and forth. So I think it's kind of up in the air right now. It's up in the air, but I would say 60-40 he is retiring. So a good chance this is it for Brian Snitker as well. As I mentioned before, the Falcons have a big game at home against the Commanders, who are likely to be shorthanded. They've got some injuries on offense. We don't know if Jaden's going to play. And as I mentioned before, this is a must-win game, not only for the players, but also for this coaching staff as a whole. We're going to see what this team is made of and how they respond.
Cool.
Adam, what's happening in your town?
Well, tickets to watch Marc-Andre Fleury are through the roof in a preseason game that I can't believe they're doing this. But tickets are up over $500 for a preseason hockey game. I've never seen this before.
Wow.
And people complain about $250 seats for an NFL game.
People are buying it, man, just because Marc-Andre Fleury.
Right.
I mean, I'll watch it on TV. I'm not going to spend. I don't even have that kind of money just laying around and say, hey, let's go blow it at a game. Maybe a Super
Hear you
Bowl,
there.
but I mean, you're not going to get a Super Bowl ticket for $500.
Nope.
No, good luck with that.
Paul Skeens, second year in a row under a 2.0 ERA, should be the Cy Young Award winner. I don't know. He should be. But then again, his win record is probably going to be questionable on that whole thing. But he should win it because of the ERA. Steelers obviously play the 9:30 game over in Ireland. Hopefully I'll have some live. I'm going to try and get my sister to go live from the game on it. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that's that's just part of the juncture right now.
Jeremy, what's happening in your town?
Well, the Tigers travel to Boston to try and salvage a playoff spot. They have to win at least 2. Hopefully they sweep them. But Boston's been playing well of late.
Matter of fact, beat on today, Jeremy.
Did they? Who'd they get beat on today by? The Rays?
Toronto.
Oh, Toronto.
It was 6-1. I don't know what the final was, but it was 6-1, and they had a no-hitter going through 7.
Well, let's see what it is.
Damn it, Marvin Harrison just caught
6-1 was the 6-1 final for the Blue Jays over the Boston. Yankees beat the White Sox. Everybody beats the White Sox.
It was 3-0 White Sox for a while, and then the Yankees woke up.
Yep. 1-0 Phillies over the Marlins. Dodgers blanked the Diamondbacks 8-0. Astros won today, so they're still only 1 behind. Twins beat the Rangers 4-0. So that's looking good for you. They're not looking good. Orioles beat Tampa Bay. The Reds beat the Pirates. And that pretty much sums up the scoreboard in MLB for you.
And Marvin Harrison Jr. just got a touchdown pass.
All right. So what's the score now? Is it 20-13?
That's what my son just posted.
20-13. I was just checking MLB at the time, so I do it by the sport for a reason. That way It was like kind of opening week when we were live, and I said, "Hey, I've got a blowout that nobody's talking about because it's Division III Catholic Christian schools." What was that one? The one from Houston, Houston Christian Academy, which is actually a Division III college, was up on St. Mary's of Augustine or something like that, and it was 69-0 was the final score. That was nuts. But the Lions travel to Cleveland, hopefully to establish their dominance on the road, just like they did last year. See, we just started out a little flat. What if with 8 wins on the road this year? I don't think anybody in Detroit will complain.
And your Red Wings played tonight.
They did.
It's
They did.
preseason. It's hard to
It is
get excited about preseason. It really is.
I'm not excited for the Red Wings because we still got Steve Eisenman, and it's still owned by Chris Village, the same guy that allowed this awful trade deadline to go by with Scott Harris.
Okay, so
I like Steve Eiserman.
yeah.
I loved him as a player.
Oh, he did a lot of good in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
He did.
You gotta look at the good, Jeremy. You can't always look at the bad.
Well, let's put it this way. The collapse of the Tigers since July 8th, the 15th, with the 15.5, or July 8th, excuse me, with the 15.5 lead, was very similar to going into February with a 10-point lead in the NHL with holding the last wild card spot. And we lost that too.
So as far as my town, thankfully the Badgers have a bye because they have an awful season. They have an awful schedule coming up after that. They travel to Michigan to play Michigan next week. Let's see. The Packers travel this weekend down to Dallas. So Micah can have all of his family still in his box because his trade went through so late, he still has a whole box for tickets so all of his family can watch. The Cincinnati Reds travel to the Milwaukee Brewers, and I will instead of traveling to Hard Rock Stadium to cover the Miami Hurricanes, who also have a bye this week, I will be traveling to Boca Raton to cover the FAU Owls, who will be taking on Memphis. So we will be at that game instead. So let's hope, because the last, 3-4 games, it's rained down here during the Miami game, which if any of you were ever out in the elements for that, as I'm a photographer on the field, that's no fun. The last thing you want is,
especially when that sun comes back out.
I would much rather deal with the sun than the rain.
No, I meant like after it comes back out after the rain.
Yeah.
But it just turns ugly.
The worst was 2 weeks ago when we actually had a lightning delay. And so we had to all go back in for an hour and a half and wait. So hopefully we won't have any of that this weekend. But yeah, the Hurricanes have a bye. They're preparing to go on the road for their first road game, and they're going to Florida State next week. So, but yeah, so I'm going to go to the FAU Owls. We'll see that. We'll see how they're doing. And that's really what's happening in my town, because I don't talk about the Dolphins, because why? Yeah.
How hot is that seat Mike McDonald sitting on right now?
It's hot. If it's not, it sure should be.
Yeah, so you think between him and Dable, who gets fired for, and Callahan, it seems like it's a 3-man race. Who gets fired first?
It should be Daniels, but I don't know that the owner will do that as quick as the rest of us think he should.
So earlier, Keegan asked a question of Samir, and I want to ask it real quick before we get up.
Yeah.
Which coaching staff do you think was worse, Raheem Morris's or Josh McDaniels with the Raiders?
Oh, Josh McDaniels.
I had to ask it because I saw it earlier.
Yeah. Raheem Morris is bad. He's not that bad.
Right. He at least somehow is more of a player's coach than an X's and O's coach, is what I see. He
I mean, I wouldn't say he's a player's coach. I would just say players like him. I mean, he's more of a defensive coordinator than he's a head coach.
Right. And he wasn't that good at that.
Okay. With that being said, Samir, how can people find you?
You can find me on X at ATL_Samir2401. I post a lot of my content, a lot of my articles on that page, and you can find me here on Fire Up every Thursday night.
Okay, Adam, how can people find you?
I Driving to the Top Productions on YouTube. We're running there tonight. Just at Sports Talking It on Twitter. You can get me there. That is my main account that I pay attention to probably the most. But you can also get me on Driving to the Top, because Driving to the Top was taken, so I just made it the. And that is on Twitter. And yeah, I mean, you can get me on Facebook too, Ad McNally.
Jeremy, how can people find you?
Well, you can find me at my name on Facebook, and also find my name on the SouthFloridaTribune.com for the contributor writings, where I write for the Motor City Tribune about the Detroit Lions. You can also find me on Tuesdays on Driving to the Top Productions every week on Open Mic Night, unless I end up on Inside the Pigskin, which is back here on this network, which is the South Florida Tribune. You can also find me on Fire Up here every Thursday. And during the UFL season, I have a UFL show I do with Adam on Driving to the Top Productions. And then you can find me on my channel, the Huddle Sports Network channel, and also on the Huddle Sports Network app on Amazon, Fire Stick, and Roku on your TV if you download the app, doing my show, which is Lions Talk with Smoke and Jeremy B, Monday through Friday, noon to 1, the NFL Roundtable Talk from 9:30 till whenever we end. Last night was a 2.5-hour show. We got done at midnight.
2 hours and 20, Jerm.
Yeah, 2:23 is what I saw. Yeah, but it's still, might as well said midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And then Friday night, the Lions Fan Cave Chat, where we go live doing our pregame show with other Lions fans and podcasters. And that's all on my YouTube channel, which is Kneecap Fighting with the Motor City Lions.
Okay. For my stuff, South Florida Tribune Publishing Company published a book. My husband wrote it. Lessons from the Microphone, Tuning into the Enduring Wisdom of Visionary Leaders. Talks about media and how it has evolved over his 40 plus years in the business. You can buy it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Google, and Apple Books. There's also a link on our website, www.southfloridatribune.com, where there is a plethora of great content, so go check it out. If you want to advertise or sponsor a show, call my husband, 954-304-4941. And if you want to be a guest or have topic ideas, you can always email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. You can also find us wherever you get your podcast. At Tribune South is our Twitter handle. More importantly, if you see that red subscribe button in that lower right-hand corner, click it like a share us. And then turn your notifications on so you're notified whenever we go live. And then we ask that you would also go to all the people that we have, all the different panelists we have that have YouTube channels, and click theirs too. Subscribe there, because we all are trying to grow together. One big happy family. So, Adam, I really want to thank you for coming on our show tonight. You are welcome to come back anytime you want, Thursday nights. Jeremy, you want to end us like you always do?
Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat watching on whatever channel and whatever platform you are watching from. Make sure you hit the like. And if you do subscribe to any of our channels, make sure on YouTube, make sure you hit that bell to get your notifications.
Sounds good. Everyone have a great weekend and
fun.
Enjoy all the football.
Guys, have a good night.
Thanks.